Population decline, commonly referred to as depopulation, is the gradual drop in the population of a nation, municipality, or other geographic area. Aging emigration, birth rates, or fertility rates, below the population's replacement rate. High infant mortality rates due to underdeveloped healthcare systems. High death rates due to war and violence, disease, or other catastrophes are just a few of the many possible trends that could contribute to population decline. According to UN data, 21 countries saw their population decline from 2015 to 2020. Countries include Italy, Albania, Poland, Georgia, Moldova, Andorra, Japan, Hungary, Serbia, Portugal, Greece, Ukraine, Syria, Croatia, Romania, Bulgaria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Venezuela, Latvia, Lithuania, and Puerto Rico. Until the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the global population grew very slowly. After about 1800, the growth rate accelerated to a peak of 2.09% annually during the 1967 to 1969 period. But since then, due to the worldwide collapse of the total fertility rate, it has declined to 1.05% as of 2020. The average American woman had 7 children. By 1900, that dropped to 3.5. Today, it's 1.64 children. That's below the replacement rate of 2.1, the level at which births balance deaths, meaning not enough babies are born for a generation to replace itself. Absolute growth rates increased to a peak of 92.9 million in 1988, but by 2020, they had decreased to 81.3 million. According to long-term predictions, the global human population will rise at a decreasing pace until it reaches zero by the end of the 21st century, which is a demographic balancing condition where the population of a certain area neither increases nor decreases, meaning that the number of births plus in-migration equals the number of deaths plus out-migration. Examples of this new trend include China, whose population may begin to decline as early as 2027, and Japan, whose population is now, from 2015 to 2020, dropping at a pace of 0.2% annually. According to projections, Europe's population will be dropping by 2050 at a pace of 0.3% a year, or it may already have begun. Population growth has declined mainly due to the abrupt decline in the global total fertility rate, from 5.0 in 1960 to 2.3 in 2020. The decline in the total fertility rate has occurred in every region of the world and is a result of a process known as demographic transition. In order to maintain its population, ignoring migration, a country requires a minimum fertility rate of 2.1 children per woman. The number is slightly greater than 2 because not all children live to adulthood. Well, there are many reasons for low fertility rate. Number 1, urbanization. Generally, expectations are that urbanization reduces fertility because urban residents would likely increase the costs of raising children and there is less labor for children. While in rural areas, a child is a useful laborer and housing is cheap in the city. So in urban societies, fertility rate decreases. Number 2, high income. Generally, a developed country has a lower fertility rate, while a less economically developed country has a higher fertility rate. For example, the total fertility rate for Japan, a more developed country, with per capita GDP of $32,600 in 2009, was 1.22 children born per woman. But the total fertility rate in Ethiopia, with a per capita GDP of $900 in 2009, was 6.17 children born per woman. Higher income parents value quality over quantity and so spend their resources on fewer children. People earning more have a higher opportunity cost if they focus on childbirth and parenting rather than their continued career. Women who can economically sustain themselves have less incentive to become married. However, a United Nations report in 2002 came to the conclusion that sharp declines in fertility rates in India, Nigeria, and Mexico occur despite low levels of economic development. Every country could differ in their respective relationship between income and fertility. Some countries show that income and fertility are directly related, but other countries show a directly inverse relationship. Number 3, religion. Basically, the more religious a society is, the higher its fertility rate is. In 3 Gallup polls conducted in 2008, 2009, and 2015, respondents were asked whether they felt religious or not. In Nigeria, which has the highest fertility rate at 6.9, 99% of those polled said yes. On the other hand, in Spain, which has the lowest birth rate in Europe at 1.3, only 39% said yes, making it one of the least religious countries in the world. So more religious a society is, the higher the fertility rate. Low fertility rate can have both positive and negative effects. If we talk about negative effects, basically low fertility rates mean smaller and, more importantly, older people will make up a bigger portion of the population. This means that there will be fewer people of a working age supporting many retirees. The world is aging in nearly every region. Governments may need to raise taxes to pay for senior care because of this bizarre imbalance. Europe and North America had 3 working-age people for every elderly person in 2019. That is expected to fall below 2 by 2050, and it already is in some countries. An effort to encourage more people to have children, Japan is using robots to care for the old people in some nursing homes in response to the labor shortage. Low population also means decline in military strength, decline in innovation since change comes from the young. GDP growth may even slow down or even decrease as a country's population decreases. A country would experience a decline in GDP, which is known as an economic recession, if the decline in total population is not matched by an equal or greater increase in productivity, and if that condition persists from one quarter to the next. The nation may experience a prolonged recession if these conditions persist. A declining population can also have beneficial effects. As the population decreases, more resources may be made available to the population, resulting in an increase in wealth per person. Even if a nation's population is growing at a slow or even negative rate, it can still improve the standard of living for its citizens and boost its total GDP. Between the years 2003 and 2006, when both Germany and Japan's populations began to decline, their economies began to recover. Even though Russia's population had been declining since 1992 to 1993, the country's economy began to expand rapidly in 1999. A focus on productivity growth that leads to an increase in both per capita GDP and total GDP can bring other benefits to the workforce through higher wages and benefits and better working conditions, customers through lower prices, and owners through higher profits, and the environment by putting more money into more stringent. Every country is taking steps to increase its fertility rate. Russia's birth rate is currently at 1.48 child per woman. While this is a significant increase from 1999, when the figure fell to 1.16, Putin hopes to raise it level to 1.7. Under the proposals, first-time mothers would be eligible to receive maternity benefits previously paid only to women with 2 or more children. Welfare benefits would also be paid for children aged 3 to 7 in low-income families, and free school meals would be provided for the first 4 years of school. Last year, Putin promised tax breaks for bigger families. Italy, like Russia, the Italian government has tried its own financial incentives to encourage couples to have more children. But an €800 payment per couple per birth, launched in 2015, does not appear to have led to significant changes. Italy still has one of the lowest fertility rates in Europe, with 1.3 children per woman. Sweden has arguably the most parent-friendly tax system in the world. You get 480 days of paid parental leave, most of it at 80% of full earnings, with both parents forced to take a minimum of 60 days each, and child benefit is about €130 per child per month, increasing with each child. And yet Sweden's fertility rate has fallen from 2.1 in 1990 to 1.66 in 2020. What do you think about the population decline? Is your country facing a population decline? What do you think a possible solution to fix this? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. See you in next video.